Welcome back, folks. Glad you could join me again. And probably doesn't need any introduction, but you know this guy here, the one I've been working with recently, and the one that has been a bit of a challenge to me, and I even asked for some help on. But it turns out, I don't think I actually need any help. I think we finally got things figured out. Well, maybe not entirely. We still got some things to work on yet, but turns out our problem, well, is no surprise, it was me. And it goes right back to something that I've talked about a long time ago, well, quite a few times actually. And even just recently in a video, I talked about the number one mistake that people make is going too fast. And, well, that's exactly what I was doing. And I should know better, because I'm the one that teaches this stuff. You see, one of the things that I've been trying to achieve lately, excuse me, sir, I didn't ask you over there, you're in the way. Yeah, back up. Thank you. Nice guy. Yes, you are. You're a nice guy. You'll notice I'm even playing with his nose. He's not trying to eat me. Well, I'll get to that in a second. First, what I've been trying to achieve lately is basically I've been trying to figure out how I can condense things a bit so we can make things happen a little quicker, which totally goes against my beliefs. And it just finally occurred to me what I was doing, because, see, with this particular horse, there actually is a little bit of a time constraint. Yes, you're a nice guy. Yes, you're a nice guy. You just keep that nose to yourself. Good guy. Nice guy. There is actually a little bit of a time constraint with him. So I have been trying to figure out how to do things a little quicker, but that was actually my downfall. Because he's getting as bad as Clint for finding the microphone. Actually, between those two, there is a lot of similarities, I'm starting to realize. But anyhow, he is a nice guy, though. He really is. But I made the mistake of, well, like I said, I was trying to compress things, make things happen a little bit quicker. All the things that I always say you should not ever do. You should never put a time limit on what you're trying to accomplish. It takes as long as it takes. And, well, apparently that's all I had to do with this one, is just slow down a little, back off a little. And I got a funny feeling he's going to try and roll here in a second. Yeah, it looks like yep, here he goes. He's going to roll. That's okay. You get to watch that, maybe. I don't know if he's on camera or not. Just got to watch out he doesn't roll on me. Silly guy. But all of the problems that we've been having with him, turns out I was getting really frustrated because I knew he was smart, I knew he was sensitive, but now I only have a theory on part of this. I haven't got all the answers. I don't think I ever will. But the whole biting thing, I think, was just a case of he was just getting frustrated. It wasn't that he isn't smart and sensitive, but he'd just get a little frustrated when I'd ask him to do things, and his way of dealing with this frustration was to nip. Now, not bad. He's not being mean. He was just getting frustrated, I think, is all that was happening. Maybe that's what was happening. Maybe it wasn't. But what happened was I just decided to dial things down a little bit. Just back off a little, go a little slower, a little gentler with him. And all of a sudden, a couple of days ago, I don't know what happened, but it was like a little switch went click. And all of a sudden, he's not trying to eat me anymore. And I can do all the things that I normally would have done on lead. And typically, if I was holding the lead like this and I asked him to do something, the first thing he'd do is try and bite this hand. That's what was always happening, and that was kind of frustrating for me. But since I backed off a little bit, now I can go back to doing those things. And guess what? He doesn't try eating me. Well, today he's being a little mouthy. Hey. That's better. Thank you. But, I mean, overall, though, I think we've still got some things to work on with them. But this just goes right back to something I've been saying for years, is just slow down. Just hang out with the horse. You know, you don't have to have these intense training sessions that you gotta accomplish something. Any one thing, anything. In his case, absolutely every day that we've spent with him, we have made progress. Maybe not huge sometimes, but there's always been that little bit of progress in there, and that's what I always keep talking about. Little progress is still progress. You're moving in the right direction, that's all that matters. Well, it turns out that in order to be successful with this particular horse, that's all we had to do, just slow down a little. And now, well, we can do just about anything you want. You see how nice and chill he is here. He's not perfect yet. We got a ways to go. We got some things to do, and one of the many things yet that we have not done is we have to trailer train him. And well, I think I might even video a little bit of that when we get to it. But I'm not getting in a hurry, because right now there's still a few things that we haven't got all the bugs out of yet that I think are going to affect how well he loads in a trailer. Because at this point, just because of his personality, one of two things is going to happen when we ask him to go in the trailer. He's either going to go, yeah, whatever, and just walk right in, or he's going to get up to the trailer and say, no, I don't feel like it. And that's it, he's not going in. Could go either way. I don't know. But until we get a little more consistency in his response, I'm not even going to try the trailer, because either one of those could happen. And I want it to be consistent to the point where the way I like to do things, and all four of my own horses, all I got to do is just open the back door of the trailer and say, in you go. That's it. And they go in. And that's what I'm hoping is going to happen with this one. No, not hoping. I'm expecting that. And that's kind of how you get things done, is your expectations become your reality eventually. So whatever you expect that you can accomplish with your horse, that's exactly what you're going to get. It's kind of up here. Now, I just thought I'd throw this out, because I realized I'd made a huge, huge mistake by breaking my own rules and not taking my own advice and trying to get in a hurry, and instead of taking my time and getting this. And this is what we want. One of the many things, though, that we're still having problems getting a consistent response. He can be super sensitive if he wants to be. I know he can. It's just a matter of whether or not he wants to. You know, and one of the many things is flexing. Anytime I tried flexing him towards me in the past, not going to do it today. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. There are days where he's so sensitive, as soon as I pick up that lead, he turns his head. Today is one of those days where, I don't feel like doing it. Oh, there we go. Turned. Well, not much, but he's at least responding. But there we go. Very good. There, that's what we want. But we want that consistently, so that no matter what we ask him to do, he instantly responds. And you'll notice he turned his head towards me and didn't try biting me. And that is one of the things that we've been having a struggle with, is because when I go to get on, I like to flex the head towards me as I'm getting on so the horse doesn't move. And that would always result in him trying to bite me in the past. All of a sudden now, no, it doesn't. So we are going to be able to flex his head towards me when we get on. And but once we get a little more consistency in his response, then we can move on to the trailer too, because right now that's priority number one, is we want consistency. But he actually knows pretty much everything. There's not much he doesn't know. This guy's actually really smart. It's all right now a point of whether or not he feels like doing it. But as you can see, you wouldn't know this was the same horse. He's not trying to bite me. He's not moving. Now that he's finished doing his rolling thing and everything, he's settled down and relaxed. He'll stand here all day. But this kind of stuff is accomplished by doing very little at all, actually. Several of the times where we've had him in here working with him, we really haven't done a whole lot with him. A lot of the times it's just hang out with him, tell him he's a good boy, rub on him, you know, maybe walk around a little, maybe pick up a foot or something like that, just little stuff. that, ask them to move a little bit this way or that. Not much. You don't have to do a lot with your horse to make progress. Just hanging out with the horse, and I've mentioned this before in videos too, some of the best training, and it's essential, is just hanging out with the horse with no expectations, putting no pressure on the horse at all. And this is what you get. You get this totally chill horse that just hangs out, wants to be with you, and doesn't give a crap. They're not stressed out, going, oh, well, what's going to happen next? None of that stuff. It's just real relaxed and easygoing. So, well, we're not done with this guy. You're going to get to see him again. We got about another month to work with him before he leaves here. And I'm sure you're going to get to see him again. But I just had to bring that one in, share it with you, is that the problems that we were having with this guy, that was my own fault. Because I was breaking my own rules, not taking my own advice. And in fact, we were creating problems. Now, as you can see, by just dialing things back a little, doing things a little slower, like I keep telling you to do, guess what? We're not having problems. Okay, we're still having some tiny ones, but we'll get to them in time. Like the whole responsiveness, consistency. I don't have an answer to that one. All I know is that in the past, anytime it's been a problem, even much milder than this, simply consistency and many repetitions, and eventually it just keeps getting better. And that's what we're really hoping with this one, is that in time, if I pick this lead up enough times and ask him to turn his head, eventually when I pick that lead up every single time, he's going to turn his head. If he doesn't do it perfectly right now every single time, I'm not going to get too worried about it. Everything else is coming along. He's not trying to eat me anymore. Basically, our problem was so simple, it was, I already had the answer. And that's just, I wanted to share that with you. No matter how odd of a horse you get, sometimes the things you have to do are exactly the same as you would do with any other horse. He's still an interesting fellow, though. Don't get me wrong there. He's definitely a little different. But at the same time, how did we resolve some of our problems? Exactly the same way we did with every other horse. Just slow down, take our time, and wait for things to happen. It's kind of like, I can't remember which fella it was that said it, but I remember the saying is, if you want things to work, just set it up and wait for it to happen. Well, it's kind of what you got to do sometimes. It's just set it up, wait for it to happen, be patient, and eventually it'll happen. Another one of the things that another guy said, actually it might have been the same guy, can't remember, it was, don't worry about the bad. Ignore the bad. Focus on the good. And eventually the good gets better and the bad just disappears. And that is a fact. Because if we don't focus on the problems, they aren't problems at all. And in most cases, if you don't pay any attention to them at all, they just go away. And if you're dealing with other things that eventually will mitigate those problems and make them go away anyhow, by focusing on the other things, the problems go away inadvertently because you're working on the things that cure those problems instead of worrying about the problems, which actually aren't problems. Well, that goes back to what I've said before about problems versus symptoms. Anyhow, just wanted to share this with you, that when you get an odd horse, how do you fix it? Exactly the same as you do with every other horse. Just slow down, okay? Take your time. Don't put time constraints on anything that you're doing. Don't put time limits on the horse or yourself. Just do what you got to do. Take your time, and eventually things are going to happen. Have a good day. Oh, before I go, don't forget to like this video. Please feel free to make a comment, because apparently that really helps with YouTube. And for all of you that have been sharing my videos or my channel with your friends, thank you very much. Because over the last couple of months, we've been making progress. Our subscribers have been going up. It's still not very good, but it's going up, slowly but steadily. Over the last couple of months, we've been getting more subscribers. Our watch time is going up. And not unlike my horsemanship, I say, even a little progress is still progress. You're moving in the right direction. Well, that's exactly how my YouTube channel's working. we're not making huge progress. It's not growing in leaps and bounds, but we're making progress. It's moving in the right direction, and I want to thank you for your help with that one. And my next video actually is based on a comment on a very recent one. And I read it over a couple times, and I was thinking about it, and well, it's kind of a two-part question somebody asked, and well, part of it's actually almost redundant, but still, it's important enough. I think I'm going to talk about it, but not in this video. I'm going to do another video, so stay tuned for that one. Join me again. In the next video, I think I'm going to answer some of the questions that I was asked in a previous video, because that's how it works. You ask, I answer. Have a good day.